Adam here with the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So behind me here I have the 24 Honda Passport. So we'll look at the updates for the 24 model, the interior, the exterior, and then we'll go for a spin around and see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 24 Honda Passport, and before we even get going, let's go over the changes for the 24 model. So we're going to start here with the center armrest. Now this has been totally redesigned. You've got a large storage cubby down here, and they've also changed the wireless charging setup, so you can actually put two phones down here. You can put one on the wireless pad and then set another phone over here, and you've got some USB plugs. Another thing they changed is this model. So this is the Black Edition. So we'll dive into it a little bit more as we get going on the test drive here, but it's a pretty cool trim level. So let's get going. Now, in order to select drive, you're gonna have your little drive-by-wire system down here. So what does that mean? Drive-by-wire kind of frees up space from having that large shifter up here. It's simply park, reverse, neutral, and drive. You click it by selecting what you want, and then you're off and moving. Now, reverse is gonna also pull up the backup camera here, which is gonna be very helpful if you're parking in a tight spot, or if you're maybe backing up to a trailer or trying to get into that really busy grocery store. A lot of good stuff there. So the trim levels are the EXL, you're gonna have the Trail Sport, which is more of an off-road focused model, and then the Black Edition. So the Black Edition, as the name says, all blacked out on the exterior. You've got the black wheels, the black badging on here. It looks really cool. It's kind of a menacing look to it when you walk up to it, especially with those LED daytime running lights up front. It's a pretty cool looking vehicle. Now, what's the difference between the Passport and the Pilot is one thing that we often hear. Now, this one is going to be a 5-passenger vehicle, where if you go up to the Pilot, that's going to give you that third row, where this doesn't have that. What this has instead is a ton of storage. Now, in the back, you can either fold the seats down or keep them up, and you are going to have a lot of cargo space back there. It makes it very convenient if you're hauling people around, or if you need the extra space, kick the seats down and you get a ton of room back there. Plus, even under the floor, you can pick that up and there's even more storage down there. Now, folding those seats is easier than ever. With just the press of a button, those will kick down for you. So what powers the Passport lineup? Now, they're all going to be the same no matter which trim level you're looking at. It's going to be a 3.5 liter V6. Now, that's going to give you about 280 horsepower. And what's awesome about this vehicle, if you're towing a side-by-side, jet skis, or a utility trailer, it's going to tow up to 5,000 pounds. So that's a pretty good amount for a vehicle of this size. Now, how about the ride and drive out on the road? It's a 9-speed automatic transmission. And what does that mean real world? It's super smooth. I was blown away at just how comfortable this Honda transmission was when paired to the 3.5 liter. It handles nicely. This one does have the larger wheels, so if you're looking at the Trail Sport with those general grabber tires, it might have a little bit more road noise, but if you're using it maybe to go to an off-road campsite or if you're going to the cabin a lot, I think the Trail Sport, maybe kind of geared more towards the outdoors enthusiast, has some pretty cool features as well, but I think if I'm looking at one, I'm going for the Black Edition. Inside, it's blacked out. The seats also say Black Edition in them, and it's got kind of a red stitching that runs through the vehicle that looks really cool in here. Now, these seats are also very comfortable. They're going to be heated as well as air conditioned or ventilated when you go up to the Black Edition model. You're also going to add heated seats to the second row, which on a day like today, it is about 20 degrees here. First thing I did was turn on my heated seats, and then one of my other favorite options is the heated steering wheel. So when you kick that on, your fingers are nice and toasty, and you finally get feeling back into them when you're done shoveling the driveway and you're off to work. So each one of the Honda Passports is also going to come with the all-wheel drive system. Now, there's a few different selectable modes, maybe used more on the Trail Sport version, but for the most part, the all-wheel drive system is there, and you're gonna know it's working, and it's gonna help you out in a pinch. When the snow does start to fall pretty heavily, this is gonna be a great vehicle to help get through those Minnesota winters. So let's focus a little bit on the interior. Now, the infotainment screen is awesome. It is lightning fast as far as the response is concerned, and I have my phone set up with Apple CarPlay as well. There's going to be Android Auto in there. There's also going to be built-in navigation. So you can hear it, simple press, that's going to pull up your maps, or you can use your Spotify, Google Maps, all that good stuff with Apple CarPlay like I've got set up, text messaging, and there's voice controls on the steering wheel, so you keep your focus paid attention on the road ahead and not messing with your phone when you're out on the go. Now, a few other things inside. This one does have the dual zone climate control, so your driver and your passenger can select that, and there's also a rear setting back there when you hop into the second row. So how is legroom and space in the second row? Now, if you've got a growing family, maybe the Pilot was one you want to lean towards if you want that third row. But if it's you in the car 90% of the time, or your kids are starting to get a little bit older, or maybe they're still in the car seats, this is kind of going to do it all. There's lots of room in the back, like I said, for cargo space. You can put kids in the back in the car seat and they're not going to be just kicking you the whole time, because there is plenty of room back there compared to some of the other crossover SUVs. Now you hear the vehicle come to a stop when I'm at the stoplight here. So this has auto start stop. So fuel economy wise, you're looking at about 24 on the highway and maybe down to about 21 combined. So there is a little bit of sacrifice with the V6, but with the power of you putting your foot down and be able to get up and go, and that towing capacity, there is a little bit of trade-off, but you do get some benefits back there. Now there also is a digital gauge cluster in here. So on the steering wheel, there's a little home button. You can go through your trip computer, all-wheel drive settings. It's got your phone, your music, all that stuff. Again, keeping your focus ahead and not maybe even looking at the screen or messing with your phone, which it all kind of comes back to safety. So the Honda Sensing safety system is going to give you things like blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning. There's also an adaptive cruise control system in here. So you can set that right on the steering wheel, 4, 3, 2, 1 car lengths. It will keep that distance when you're cruising, and that's a pretty cool feature to have. It kind of takes a mental load off you, so if you're doing a lot of highway miles, like I said, maybe those cabin trips, or you're just driving on the highway back and forth to work, it's a very nice safety feature to have and something that makes your drive definitely more enjoyable. So a few other little things in here. We've got the sunroof up above, and then on the outside, you've also got the roof rack rails. So you can add crossbars to this one. So like I said, if you're looking at maybe doing some outdoor activities, I think the Trail Sport is a pretty cool one. Off-road tires, you get a little bit different suspension tuning, and then from there, you're also gonna be able to throw the bikes or the kayaks up above, but same thing with the Black Edition. So with a few small changes for the 24 model, but still keeping the basic layout and design for the Passport, there's a lot to like here. I love the exterior styling. The interior, although sort of basic when comparing it to a lot of other vehicles, I think it makes sense. Everything is easy to find. When you hop into a vehicle, you know where the air conditioning is, you know how to change the radio or turn the volume up and down. I mean, Honda didn't overcomplicate it by making things only on a touchscreen or doing other things. I mean, you get in, click drive, you're off and running, and all that safety features and all that stuff is there behind you, helping you out. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to like when looking at the Honda Passport. So the EXL is going to come in just under $42,000 for the MSRP, and this one's going to get you kind of closer to the $48,000 range. So it's a lot of equipment for the money, but I think the average new car price right now is something like $48,000. So there's a lot of equipment you're getting with this vehicle for the price point, and I think if you're shopping for a crossover SUV, you definitely got to get out, take this one for a spin, see what you think. So that was just a quick look and drive at the 24 Honda Passport. Now, if you'd like more information or to schedule a test drive for yourself, you can visit us online at walserhonda.com or stop by anytime. We'd be happy to help you out. Thanks again for watching.